The light in the apartment across from mine only turns on after midnight. I noticed it by accident. I was half asleep on my couch when a faint glow appeared through my window. At first, I thought it was a reflection from a passing car. But when I looked again, the light was steady, warm. Deliberate. Deliberate. The apartment across the street had been empty for months. I knew this because the real estate sign was still taped inside the window. The curtains were always open. The room's always dark. Except, no, I checked the time. And las 12:11 de la mañana. The next night, it happened again. Almost the same minute. Las 12:13 de la mañana. The light turned on. One room. Always the same window. I stood at my window and watched. Nothing moved behind the glass. No shadows. No silhouettes. Just light. During the day, the apartment was empty again. Dark. Still, I asked the building manager about it. He frowned and flipped through his paperwork. No one lives there, he said. No one has since the previous tenant left. I didn't ask why they left. On the fourth night, the light turned on as soon as I entered my room. I hadn't even checked the time yet Primera, frost. Then my own room light flickered. I hadn't touched the switch. Across the street, the light flickered too, perfectly in sync. I turned my light off. So did they. That was when I noticed something else.com. The curtains across the street were no longer open. They were closed, but not all the way. A narrow gap remained. I felt certain something was watching through it. I stepped back from the window. The light across the street dimmed slightly, as if adjusting. That night, I dreamed of standing in that empty apartment, looking out through the curtains, watching my own room. The next night, the lights turned on earlier. Las 11:58 de la noche. This time, I didn't go to the window. I stayed in bed, facing the wall. My phone buzzed. A notification from my building's shared camera system. Someone had logged in remotely. The feed showed my street, my building, my window. The camera angle slowly zoomed in from the reflection in the glass. I could see the light behind me turn on. I never looked at that window again. But sometimes, when midnight passes, I feel the light waiting for me to notice it. Even with the curtains closed, the shadows still appeared. The first time, I thought it was a trick of the light, a passing car. Up! A tree swaying in the wind, but there were no trees outside my window, and the street was too narrow for headlights to reach that angle. The shadow stretched across my curtains slowly, as if someone were standing just outside, blocking the light. I turned off the lamp. The shadow remained. I stepped closer. The outline was wrong. Tú, tal, tú, still, tú, still. I pulled the curtain open. There was nothing there. No one. No light source, just the dark wall of the neighboring building. When I closed the curtain again, the shadow returned instantly. The next night, I didn't turn the light on at all. The shadow appeared anyway. This time, it moved, not side to side, up and down, like breathing. I stopped sleeping in that room. I moved to the living room and closed every curtain. At 12:04 a.m., a shadow slid across the fabric anyway, from the wrong direction. I checked my door. Locked. Windows. Closet. There was nowhere the shadow could be coming from. I filmed it on my phone. On the screen the curtain was blank. No shadow. No movement. Only when I looked away from the phone did I see it again. The shadow lifted one arm. Primera, ba, give Hawaii. The following night, the shadow didn't appear on the curtain. Instead, it appeared on the wall behind me, perfectly aligned, mirroring my shape. When I raised my hand, it raised its hand a moment later when I stopped moving. It continued. That was when I realized something. The shadow wasn't copying me. I was copying it. I ran to the bathroom and turned on the light. The mirror showed me standing alone, but on the wall behind me, a shadow remained, still watching. I moved out the next day. In my new apartment, I keep the lights off at night, but sometimes, when everything is dark enough, I can still feel where the shadow wants me to stand.